Welcome back, Super Friends. What's the hubbub? The new Superman trailer that puts the final dagger in what's left of the Snyder cult. We have some promotional updates, reactions, and the topic of shilling.
Really loves being Superman, and he loves that he has this ability to come in and save the day and be the protector and be a symbol of good and hope.
That gets labeled towards supporters of the new movie.
But secretly, what he loves about Lois Lane is that she is his match. She isn't taken by the symbolism and the visual and sort of the ideal of Superman. She asks the hard questions. So it's actually very frustrating for Superman because he wants to be this sort of pure symbol of good. Lois keeps finding all these ways that he screwed up a little bit. Or is he really well-intentioned there? Or did he think through the consequences of things there? She's the only place he really gets that and actually is a little convinced by it. So that definitely draws him to her.
Yeah, I think she's somebody who sees around every corner. She's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. And it's what makes her brilliant, but I think can also make her have trust issues with the people in her real life. And I think one of the things that she loves so much about Superman is that he is so radically present. He's able to look at just what's in front of him. I think she finds it both incredibly frustrating and also really endearing quality.
Also diving into the Snyder Bros cult movement, which harsh critics and Aaron Fischer have gotten wrapped into. Let's start with a look at the newest trailer.
Superman. The most powerful being on planet Earth. We finally meet. Now, as planned, I'll destroy you. And of course, that reporter you always do interviews with. Who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
No matter what you do to me, Luther, your plans won't work.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
Make a move, Big Blue.
Buckle up.
They chose him. Let them die.
Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Also, loving the Clark and Jimmy banter in this new spot. Jimmy lives in this verse, folks.
I think it's pretty obvious that he kicked Superman's butt.
He didn't completely.
Did he pulverize stuff? No, come on.
My parents sent me here to serve the people of Earth and to be a good man.
That's my greatest strength.
Buckle up.
You brought that dog, man! Crypto, out, out! Stop it, stop!
Here we see Superman is not weaker in this new verse. He just has more physical villains and threats to deal with. Just because his opponents have more power doesn't mean he's weak. This Superman is just facing more challenges. Though Cavill had a presence for a stoic Superman, David is a more expressive actor. I'm sure he's going to be a great Superman because he has more to work with in the story and he can actually display some range. The presale numbers look to be quite good, but of course, the detractors don't want to believe it. Aaron Fischer brings up The Flash as proof that Superman will not open very well.
The Flash movie was projected to make almost as much as what they're projecting Superman to make, but then when the movie actually came out, it made like $45 million domestically over that weekend.
He is leaving out a pretty major point. The star Ezra Miller, who was cast by Zack Snyder, made that movie pretty much box office poison with all of his personal life issues going on. Also, I'm still curious how Snyder Bros point to Gunn praising the movie, which was being made before he took over the DCU, but never mention Zack Snyder praised it after release. Let's revisit that again. While speaking with The Hollywood Reporter to plug Rebel Moon, according to Snyder, Ezra Miller and The Flash didn't deserve the criticism they received in the aftermath of its release.
Kal-El, no!
They did a great job in that Flash movie, Snyder said. He confirmed he offered support to Miller, keeping in contact amid the legal drama, which includes harassment and disorderly conduct charges, grooming accusations, and burglary. Aaron also went on to state Superman was too harsh dealing with villains.
There's a shot of Superman, literally, Crypto, these were the guys in the air. I don't know what they're called, but there's a shot where Crypto comes up and hits the guy, and then Superman comes up and punches him in the face for a 1-2 punch, and then all his teeth come flying at the screen. This isn't Batman.
Superman will show that he can hit back and even kill if necessary.
Why is he hitting somebody so hard that their teeth fly out of their mouth? Like, Superman doesn't do that kind of stuff. That's cruel, okay? To go along with that, there's a shot later where he's using his heat vision and he's killing all these people in the sky.
As we see in the heat vision scene, I didn't have an issue with the Zod-Neck snap-kill decision in Man of Steel, so not a hypocrite here.
What the heck? They complained about Zod. Now he's literally murdering a bunch of people in the sky. Make it make sense.
Superman has deep morals in the comics, and he has principles, but is also ready to do what is necessary. At some point, he'll reveal there is another way to do things and stand up against Guy Gardner and the Lord Tech corporate-owned heroes. This may be where he grows into a leader and perhaps the building blocks to set up the real Justice League. We won't hear this Superman saying, "No one stays good in this world. He will be the optimist in a cynical world," although maybe Ultraman would. Fans are still speculating he could be Cavill and continue to theorize that angle. I still don't buy it, but it is always fun to look at fan ideas. And John Campea and Robert Burnett also weighed in and were pretty blown away by it.
Guys, this movie is going to be, hopefully it's great. It needs to be great, but it's got too many hurdles to overcome to be $1 billion or to even have the potential of being $1 billion film. I might have to change my mind about that now. When you put this trailer in front of the masses, the projections came out. This movie's going to make 150 to 185 million opening weekend. I'm like, come on, guys. That minus 50 to 100, minus 50 or $80 million. Maybe it can be $100 million movie, opening movie. This trailer to me changes the narrative.
What many Superman fans have been craving is getting out of grounded and into fantasy. These are comic book characters. I'm not asking for comic book accurate everywhere, as they have to adapt to film, but I also don't mind the idea that the audience goes to visit their world, not just see the superheroes visiting ours in a grounded way.
This changes there. It still has obstacles. It still has all that dead weight of people being turned off by DC stuff on screen and having abandoned the DC universe, and the fact that we're on our 3rd or 4th iteration of Superman in just a short amount of time. All those obstacles are still there. But I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that 150 to 185 million dollar opening weekend is not so crazy.
That just tells you what you need to know. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be various YouTube channels that talk that we're shilling this movie.
Sure, yeah.
But you know what? Here's the thing. What's not to love?
What Nolan and Snyder did was imagine Superman in more of a Batman world, and that was fine for its time. But fans could use more optimism, more color, more hope, less cope.
As somebody who's been reading, I've read thousands of Superman comics. I have on my shelves in my observatory all different iterations of Superman, from Superman Red Sun to Superman, the whole clone. I mean, not clone, was the Death of Superman saga. You know, from the time when you had Doomsday and then you had the Reign of the Superman storyline. I've never read it all. I watched the Superman, Wendy, and Marvin hour-long shows before we got the Legion of Doom and Zan and Jaina and the Wonder Twin powers. I mean, coming from that and the Fleischer cartoons from the 40s, man. I mean, this is a combination of all of Superman history writ large on the big screen. And I, for one, John, I'm stoked. And seeing this trailer, to me, it finally coalesced. I got to hearing Luthor talk, just what he's saying. I mean, I'm like, I love this.
They chose him. Let them die.
I mean, I'm like, I was great. I'm like, this is awesome. This is what I wanted. You know, this is, and also it's close to like the Superman animated series, Justice League International, which is kind of an in-between thing. But god damn, man, I'm excited for this movie.
Tyrone Magnus also took a look at the recent trailer, as Robert Burnett quipped earlier about being called a shill. I've seen some of the same criticisms towards my takes. Yes, I'm extremely supportive of the new Superman movie, and for me, view the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy as perhaps the greatest trilogy of all time. I've never tried to hide that.
The spinning heat vision was cool. As CGI as it looked, it was cool.
At the same time,
After
it's impossible that every single item
now,
is going to be exempt from critical review.
It could be mid to good.
I'm not going to be the shill that blocks debate and criticism. I am not going after Tyrone Magnus.
You see that? You see that? From mid to good. Before I was saying from mid to suck.
Simply because he is a Snyder fan. I am going to give my opinion and honest reactions.
From mid to good. I don't know if it's going to suck. That's how I feel now. I feel it's going to be mid to good. I'm not sure it will suck, but it could suck. I do not think it will be great or a masterpiece. That's where I am right now after seeing this trailer. So, we have to wait and see.
What I've seen from Tyrone is genuine to me, and yes, I understand it won't always be in favor of Superman and or James Gunn. What will it be? Honest, and his take, he is just not a grifter to me. I see no evidence of that. I'm not going to go after someone to get quick subscriber numbers. I'm going to be honest on my end. What I appreciate is he may not be an advocate for it, but he still leaves room to acknowledge if something looks good to him. He will say it. You don't see him boycotting the movie in a movement as a Snyder fan. He leaves room for it to be good. As far as harsh critics shill claims,
I just think this is crap. And people like John Campea, Robert Burnett, Julie's Corner, all those other guys, they want you, and they're going to try to convince you to go out and spend your money because the studio pays them to do that. And Movie Hub Pub, I got a video for you because you are a marketing person for DC Studios, or you work for a company, and I got the proof of that based on your own admission. So that video is coming soon. But watch out for these shills. Real rejects, all of them. They're going to try to convince you to spend your money on this crap. But I think this is crap.
I'll also say, for anyone following me, I pointed to bad marketing for Superman as a criticism early on. It was clunky. It just was. It has hit a stride, perhaps because of new marketing team brought on.
Hey, Clark.
Hey, Jimmy.
Did you, Who are you?
The build-up took a while, but now we're seeing a full trailer that was rather crisp. They showed first he is going to struggle, then serious tone of political nature. Now, in this final trailer, the OP power of Superman versus villains that are extremely powerful as well. I've worked within the marketing industry. I'm not some major scooper, but I've seen ideas worked on before people even official, such as David Corenswet on the radar to be cast, or stating before trades that Hult was meeting for a role, or Adria Arjona as Wonder Woman being on the radar. I'm not saying that for clout, as I'm more of an update news and reactions channel, not a scooper. I'm saying that as a DC fan who has worked in some cross-promotional marketing, I've heard things on contracted jobs, and give my opinion honestly.
I was sent here to help the world be a better place. That is why I do what I do.
Rated PG-13, only in theaters July 11th.
I am not paid to shill as a small channel. That's just ridiculous. The reason I even took any marketing work surrounding DC is because of being a fan of the properties. I find the characters more interesting than Marvel's, though I like both. I'm just more a DC guy. Sean Chandler had a brilliant breakdown of, the Snyder cult breakdown. This describes what has happened to both harsh critics and Aaron Fischer. They've just become so wrapped up in being part of a movement.
People latched onto Zack Snyder and the release of the Snyder Cut movement as a movement. They wanted to be a part of something. It wasn't even about the movies themselves. It wasn't about watching the film. It was about like having purpose and meaning. It'd feel like you're making a difference. So it was very strange. It was very strange to observe and have a conversation with someone that, like, for me, it got released, so I watched it as early as I could, and it was massive that it happened, and so I wanted to see it. For him, all that mattered is that they won. And likewise, this thing came out 4 years ago. And if you're too attached to a movement is always about moving and not arriving.
They are like a ball in high grass now. What's that mean? That they are lost.
And so despite getting the movie released, it's released the air cut. It's restore the Snyderverse. And it keeps moving. So 4 years later, and they, Snyder's moved on. They're not doing, the universe was a mess. The Rock's trying to take over. This is bizarre kind of where things are at. So they decided to reset. It's nothing to do with James Gunn. They were going to do it anyway. They just picked James Gunn to do it.
The idea that every excited Superman and DC fan is on some kickback is just more weird Snyder bro territory. You guys are so wrapped up in a movement, you've become Snyder shills yourselves and are coming up with some crazy notions.
Someone that's friends with Zack Snyder, that wrote one of Zack Snyder's movies, but they view James Gunn as the enemy because it's not Zack Snyder. Like, if you're not for us, you're against us. They'll say things like, we already had the perfect Superman. We had the beloved Man of Steel. Why wouldn't you continue down this path? You just stop and think, what are you talking about? That was a polarizing film. Batman v Superman was even more polarizing. People as a whole did not embrace Zack Snyder's interpretation of Superman. They just didn't. But they're locked into their thing. And they lack the ability to see outside of themselves and their movement. That I like something doesn't mean that you will.
With that, we've covered the hubbub today.
Nick. What? Ready? Trust fall, of course.
Never trust a supervillain, but I trust you to get your tickets to Superman July 11th.
Cape really makes a big difference. It's the unsung hero of the suit. Most of the fittings don't include the cape, and it is literally the last thing to go on before you go on set. It just changes the silhouette and the way it flows behind you. It just adds gravitas. I sort of forgot that I was wearing the suit. I would wear it a lot.
Around your house.
Yeah. But I do remember the first day we did camera tests, coming on and seeing Nick and Rachel for the first time, and them seeing me for the first time. I must admit, I felt a little self-conscious. I hadn't gotten used to the suit yet. I hadn't filled the boots with my own sense of confidence. So to have them see me and sort of go like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Like that works pretty well. That meant a lot.
I don't like to describe myself as giddy, but I was giddy. When I saw it, I was like grinning from ear to ear. I was blown away. I was very excited. It took me back to being a big kid.
One of the fun things also was every time kids came on set.
That was the best,
really
yeah.
is like Santa Claus, you know, and all the kids are just like, oh my gosh, it's Superman.
As always, look up, not back. Eyes to the skies. Take care of yourselves and others in the spirit of Big Blue.